It's Words of Music with Brent Cobb at Riverside Revival at the WMOT studio with me, Jessie Scott. How are you?
I am doing well. I have not been to this location.
It's brand new.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I had been here. I did an event, not this location, but we did the thing with Tony Joe White, in like 2018, I think.
Yeah.
And y'all have just been so good to folks like myself and musicians like myself. That was such a cool event. I'm glad to be back. Thank y'all for having me.
Oh, it was so great having you. That was our original Wired In location.
That's right.
And it was Lori McKenna and Tony Joe and you, right. And it was.
You know how scared I was because I was playing. I think it was just me solo, and then Tony Joe also was. Yeah. And I think we were like sitting beside each other, and it freaked me out. and then, this is crazy, like a month later, I was at RCA, and I think maybe I had just stopped by the studio to see Dave or something, just crash his party, And from across the room, he had went outside, and he comes in, and he has who I think is Tony Joe White coming in, and he's trying to mess with me. I think it's Tony Joe, so he doesn't get me, so I'm not surprised. But it was actually Drop Kick Me Jesus, doggone, I can't think of his name right now.
Bobby Bear.
From across the room, it looked like Tony Joe White. So I was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And then it was Bobby Bear, who I had not met before, and I was like, "Drop kick me, Bobby!" I about fell out. It was wild. But,
Living among heroes.
Oh, dude, yeah, I know it. What a life.
Well, and what an incredible legacy from generation to generation here in Nashville. Yeah. Now, I know you don't live here anymore, but you were here for a while.
For sure.
And just being part of the fabric, being kind of drinking from the well.
All that
so great.
Has meant more to me than anything the whole time, way before I ever even started making any sort of living, making music. I have always cared so much about the history and being a part of that. And, just my favorite part still when I come to town is walking the alleys on Music Row, going from publishing the pub house to another pub house and going, man, this is what all my heroes did, Dolly and Chris Christopherson and the dudes we just named. And I love it so much. And to work in RCA, anytime I ever get to go there, I just I can't believe it.
Such a magical place.
It's so cool.
It's like, ghosts. There's ghosts in there, and then there's ghosts at the Ryman.
It's unbelievable.
You feel the generations. You feel the generations in the back alley, too.
No doubt about it. I was 16 the first time it came up, and of course I had to go in the alley between the Ryman and Tootsie's, and me and my dad, just like, Hank Williams might have stumbled out of this, and I have to touch the wall of man, I love it so much.
It's so great. Well, we love that you keep it alive.
Well, I'm proud to be any kind of torchbearer.
Well, I think, there's something to be said for real in this day and age, and all those guys guys and girls you just mentioned were real, and this generation, you guys are real.
Yo. Sierra Farrell, we were just talking about Sierra, how long she's been at it. And it's people, it seems like that. I don't want to say anybody is undeserving, but for damn sure Sierra Farrell is deserving.
Yes.
And thank goodness people are hearing this music, that people are, the universally personal music that people are putting out, is living, thank goodness.
It's an interesting way to put it because, again, when you write from a very,
I do.
self-absorbed sort of space. But the fact that you can put it out into the world and, and have it be, have it light bulb over somebody's head and feel maybe not exactly what you were experiencing, but something similar.
That's what's up. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that music is getting a spotlight again. That's the stuff, though, that never goes anywhere, I feel like. It might hit a little drought every now and again, but I think that you can always count on real people making real music, personal music, to always come back around.
And then here come the boy bands again.
And that's cool, too. You can't have one without the other, I guess.
I'm just saying. It's cyclical. It ebbs and flows.
Totally. No doubt.
What do you want to play for us?
Well, I was thinking about. All right, well, we were talking about all this anyway, sort of. This is called "It's a Start," and I actually wrote this with my dad and my wife, and it's about a personal start of my life, but also, I mean, it could be about what we were just saying, anybody's start. Let me go play it now.
Yeah.
Here I go. It's a start. Well, it's springtime down around Slaughter Creek Dirt Road. I bet the crawfish back and a bait throat in the hole. I got my 6-string strung, this song on my heart. It ain't about a thing, but by God, it's a start. And it feels so good being here with you, just burning firewood, telling jokes we learned from old folks, sipping cokes with barbecue. There's a junkyard there somewhere in that kudzu. I know it's hard to see, but underneath's a 442 Cutlass Oldsmobile. I used to dream to run, I'm dreaming still, these days just for fun. And it feels so good being here with you, just burning firewood, reminiscing, missing old times, wishing we still call them new. Woo. It feels so good being here with you, just burning firewood, telling jokes we learned from old folks, sipping cokes with barbecue. Well, it's fall time down around Slaughter Creek Dirt Road, the place that takes the credit for half the lies I've told. I got my 6-string strung, this song on my heart. It ain't about a thing, but by God, it's a start. There you go.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Brent Cobb with us here for Words and Music for WMOT Roots Radio. So you're back in Georgia now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we relocated back down there in 2018. And I, make the commute. Especially if we're touring a lot, which normally we are, I'll be here about every week,
wow.
and but just coming in, on a Wednesday to jump in the bus or the van or whatever we jumping in and hit the road for a while, and then, go back home for a few days and take the kids to school and be a daddy and a husband and do it all over again. Yeah, it's nice to come back though, and I was just talking to somebody about this that as I was pulling in the other night, even I hit Demombrian, and I can remember March of 2008 and pulling in, and they used to have that club up there, Deja Vu at the top of the thing, and how much it's changed, but then again, how much it really hasn't changed, and it just seems like, everything's all in the name of progress, but it's the same kind. I mean, it's bigger now, of course, the traffic's terrible, but I think it's always been traffic terrible, and the roads aren't ever that good, but it's got that same charm. I don't think Nashville's lost it very much.
I don't either, actually.
People like to talk a bunch of crap, I know, and in some ways maybe it has, but I think it's the same kind of change that's always been happening.
I think a lot of it is driven by people coming here to make something of themselves and, with a dream and, stars in their eyes.
No doubt.
And that's still here.
I know. I was thinking about the Ryman show, and one of the first things that I did when I moved down, at least in the first month or two, was it was right when Jack White was doing the tribute, for Loretta Lynn at the Ryman, and one of the first things I went to was that show at the Ryman. And I was like, man, this is where it's happening, and then I feel like that's the same thing with my show. I'm positive people had just moved to town, somebody, you know, in the crowd for my show at the Ryman, and I don't think that spirit has been lost. What you just said, I think people have that fire. You know, I still do.
Oh, it's alive and well.
No doubt.
Let me take you to Macon, just because I was there like a year and a half. I have no sense of time.
Word, me either.
Like last year sometime I went to Macon. I was so blown away by this city. It's got such good bones. Yeah. And it looks like it is untouched from like the 50s.
Yes.
You know, and go into the Otis Redding Foundation and to Capricorn, and it was amazing. I went to the club, to the...
Grant's Lounge.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so good. Did you go there on the what do they call it, the Macon review show that night? Get you a fried pork chop sandwich.
Fried pork chop. It was the best fried pork chop that I ever ate.
And you walk in and it's just like all walks of life just hanging out in there enjoying music, you know. I love Macon so much, and for all the reasons that you just said. And everybody's still so cool, you know, down there. There's a whole little thing happening in Macon. Don't tell anybody that.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's interesting, these little pockets that, you know, kind of attract music and, you know, are like kind of in the soil for it to grow out of. And it continues to grow there as it does here. Yep. It's really cool.
Yeah, Miss Carla is so cool. One of the, Otis Redding's daughter. I went by the foundation right after Southern Star had been recorded, and just went in there. They got the best Otis Redding merch.
They do.
Obviously, they should, you know. And so I went by there. I just like to go by there anyway. Otis is probably, definitely my favorite all-genre songwriter, singer, business person. Like, anyway, went by there. One of Otis's, and if you go there, it's his family running, his grandchildren and his daughter, you know, and like, I'd noticed, I recognized one of his grandsons was working the counter and talking to some other people who were in there, and I didn't expect them to remember me or anything, but when I got up to the counter, I was like, hey, you know, I'm Brent Cobb with me. He said, I thought that was you. He said, stay right here, I'll be right back, and he brings Miss Carla out, gets his mom, and she gives me this big hug, and it's crazy because I was just thinking about her and my daughter at the time. My daughter was 8, and I was thinking about Miss Carla was around the same age when she, she lost her dad, and how already hard it is when you're touring, and I can't imagine, you know. And so I had just been thinking about that connection, and I was able to ask Miss Carla just about the dynamic of her dad touring and all that. She said, when Daddy came home, we didn't have any rules. All the rules were out the window. We could do whatever we want, jump on the couch, whatever. Anyway, well, then she said, we love Southern Star. And I was like, well, I'm glad to hear that, Miss Carla, because I was worried that I might get a cease and desist letter from y'all, because in the video, I'm wearing one of their shirts, you know, try a little tenderness. And she said, oh, no, we only do that to people we don't like, and we love you. And so I was like, all right, I don't care what happens with this record. The Reddings love that, so I'm fine.
So good.
Yeah, Macon's great.
So great. I have a Respect one.
Yes, yes.
And I went back the next day to get another one, and I got the bag. I
got all
the
of it,
merch is
too.
amazing.
It's
really.
so good.
So cool. What do you want to play for us next?
Well, I guess I should do Southern Star. If we're just talking about it, I'll do that one. Do this with my thumb. Under the Southern Star, I heal all of my scars. As cicadas sing, ain't it the sweetest dream? Winding kudzu bounds untangle up my mind. How beloved is my home, sweet home. I've been adrifted down most highways, I've been lost at sea. But there's one thing this world can never take from me. No matter how far I go, no matter how deep the dark, I know I can always count on the Southern Star. do I define all those good old times way on way back when, rowdy and full of friends, bitter but mostly sweet, a temporary treat. Wish somebody told me so I'd have known. I've been a drifter down most highways, I've been lost at sea, but there's one thing this world can never take from me. No matter how far I go, no matter how deep the dark, I know I can always count on the southern star. Oh, I've been a drifter down most highways, I've been lost at sea, but there's one thing this world can never take from me. No matter how far I go, no matter how deep the dark, I know I can always count on my southern star. Under the southern star, I feel all of my scars. As cicadas sing, ain't it the sweetest dream? Winding kudzu bands untangle of my mind. How beloved is my home, sweet home. How beloved is my home, sweet home.
Brent Cobb is our guest here for Words and Music at WMOT. It takes you there. It does. I see it. I see the fireflies.
You know what inspired that was we did a show out in Monterey, and then we played that stage, you know, for the Monterey Pop Festival where Jimi Hendrix lit his guitar on fire and Otis Redding, you know, played that whole deal out there in one of his last shows, and me and my cousin who sells merch for me out there, and he and I walked to the bay, and just standing, you know, sitting there looking at, looking at the ocean, and I was like, man, this could have been the exact spot that Otis was sitting, you know, sitting in the morning sun, and the way that I know everybody knows and loves that song, but I just was imagining a Georgia, you know, dude, similar to myself, just being all the way out there and, you know, missing home, missing his kids and doing all, you know, all the whole thing. And I was like, I got to write my version of that. And so that's where Southern Star even came from, was imagining that.
Love.
Yeah, it was so crazy.
So you working on new music?
Always, you know. Yeah, we just actually got out of the studio. The next album is already made, and we actually did it in Springfield, Illinois, of all places, randomly. And I'm really proud. I used my touring band that's playing on this album. It's a cool album. I'm excited to get it out there.
So are you rocking a little harder on it?
You know, yeah, we are. That's the whole thing. I don't want to give away too much, but it's. Yeah, I dug into my roots a little bit. You know, I hadn't rocked in a while.
No, it's good. Well, I also love that you did a gospel record.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, it's just so meaningful. And
now let's turn the page.
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. I hit Dave up about that one, and I said, I texted him. I said, man, when are we going to make the gospel album? And he's like, oh, our family would love that.
Yes.
And so. Thank you. Yeah, I'm proud of that one too.
Yeah, I'm so proud of all your work. I think you know it's been amazing watching you over this last since 2017, 18 something.
Yeah.
And you know it's so great that you're playing the Ryman and
unreal.
You know, Maggie Antone and Joshua Ray Walker with you. Now, is that like on tour? Multiple places? Or that just
not at this moment.
The one-off?
But, you know, I mean, it's going to be such a cool show. It's not a bad idea to maybe take that show on the road for sure. Yeah, maybe.
How How many more dates do you have before the end of the year?
This is the last. This is the last stretch. This is the home stretch.
Nice.
And it's been a really cool year. But after this one, I get to go home for about a month, you know, and I'm super excited to just be with the kids and cook breakfast and all that kind of stuff. I'll say this: I love touring. I love making music. I could never stop making music. Is what I do. With that said, this is the first year we've been so busy that I have felt the age a little bit. You know, I've hit a spot where I'm like, I'm a little tired, you know, and which is fine. I mean, that's everything that I could hope it would be. There's harder stuff out there I could be doing, but it's been action packed. I'm looking forward to the stretching my legs out a little bit.
Well, it's so great too to recharge, you know, with the family, with the holidays coming, and
yep.
So what does the new year look like? What does it kick back in for you?
I think the first thing I'll do, I'm going down and doing the Mile Zero Festival in January. And we're action packed again, you know, but that's when it really kicks off, is right around there. We got a few things working on, maybe putting my own festival together for next year, maybe, I hope. And got a lot of little things, putting a new album out, will hopefully come out maybe in spring or somewhere around then. And we're just going to keep on going. I just keep my lights on and my baby's fed, and can do that until I can't anymore, I guess.
Yeah, just keep going.
I will.
You
that's
know?
like Willie, you know. Willie said, I mean, I kind of take this from Willie a little bit. But I remember my wife and I a couple years ago talking about, you know, we were talking about what are we going to do with retirement? Are we ever going to do that? And I was like, well, you know, babe, I play music and I travel the world for a living. What are we going to retire from? That's what most people work to retire to do. So I don't know that I'll ever, you know, I want to die along the highway and ride away like some old highline pole, restless, rambling fever in my soul.
Yes. And we love that we just got a new Willie record as well.
Oh, yeah,
you know, Last Leaf on the Tree, and it's wonderful.
Yes, ma'am. I feel like I ramble so much, but everything you say makes me think of another thing. But Willie, you ever seen old clips of like Willie and Dolly?
Yeah.
You know, from back in the day. And I often wonder, like, everybody has a crush on Dolly Parton, you know. And sometimes I wonder if, like, Willie was like, you know, we ought to fall for each other or something sometime. And Dolly was like, not even if we're the last. Well, maybe if we're the last two left. And I wonder if sometimes Willie might hit up Dolly these days and go, you know, we're the last two left. Which is funny, but it's also a little, you know, it's crazy, man. I can't imagine being from that class. And I can't imagine. I mean, I feel like I'm just in the middle of my whole run. And on the way up here, I think about all the people that I've lost in my life and the way that the seasons change, and what a amazing lifelong legacy career like those two people have, you know. Anyway.
And they're both so singular. They're both like carved in stone. Each of them, you know.
Yeah, I don't mean to go off on a tangent there,
them.
but no, I know. True artists.
Love it. I'll tell you off mic about when I took Dolly to Studio 54 in New York. And I had lots of run-ins, I guess, with Willie.
Yeah.
He'd play the after party for Saturday Night Live.
My goodness.
And
what year did you say this was?
I'd have to go back and think about it. It was early. It was early Saturday Night Live.
Wow.
And it was at the Lone Star Cafe. And he played all night till the sun came up. It was amazing.
That's that kind of stuff.
You know, so I get to kind of bridge that generation.
Does it blow your mind?
It does.
To like, that's what I mean. Even in my time, I think about. I feel like a bridge to so many things. I'm friends with people on both sides of the fence, you know, and like, with as far as music goes, and you have watched it. All of that, it happens around you, and we don't have to have a therapy session here, but even in my time, sometimes it's not sad, but it's a little melancholy, a little bitter and sweet, but just to think about, like, I had Jack Mills is the son of Wayne Mills. When Wayne Mills passed. He got shot in a honky-tonk in 2013, and he was sort of a troubadour. Rowdy Jason Cope produced his last album. When I wrote the song King of Alabama, it was about Wayne Mills. I wrote it for his son Jack, who was 17 at the time. Or no, excuse me, he was 7 at the time. And he's going to play that song. He's 18 now or so, and he's going to play the song that I wrote about his dad at the Ryman with me. And he's a co-writer on that song too, me and Adam Hood, because we wouldn't have wrote it if it wasn't for Jack. But that kind of stuff, and just seeing the seasons change around you, and it's not just in music, it's everybody's life. I was hanging out with my grandma the other night, just thinking about all the things that she's seen, all the people you've seen. How did you? It's nothing to deal with, but do you sometimes just go, what do you do? Just take a deep breath and just go, I guess I'm just glad to still be here, That's how I do. Yeah. So crazy.
I kind of look at it as a string of pearls, and each era kind of is another, on the necklace, basically.
It's completely different and exactly the same.
Well, it's just so wonderful to continue to be able to do what I love, which is music.
Exactly.
And, one more song?
Yeah, I'll do one more song. Sorry, we're getting deep here today at WMOT. Oh, let's see. I'm going to do that song off the gospel album. I'll probably mess it up. I hadn't played this one in a while, but it's called When It's My Time. And it was inspired from a conversation with my grandma, who is nearly 90 years old. And she's not worried about anything. And she said, well, I don't have no control over it. When it's my time, I'm going to go. That's it. When it's my time, I'm going to go. There is no reason for me to stay. I did all the dancing that could have been done. I would have been gone anyway. Then there ain't no place I'd rather be than right where I stand between you and me. I can weather the storm, I don't mind the rain. The day that I'm gone, I'll be feeling no shame. 'Cause when it's my time, I'm gonna go. There is no reason for me to stay. I did all the dancing I could have been done. I would have been gone anyway. It ain't been easy going this long, riding the fine line between right and wrong. I can weather the storm, I don't mind the rain. The day that I'm gone, I'll be feeling no shame. But when it's my time, I'm gonna go. There is no reason for me to stay. I did all the damage that could have been done. I would have been gone anyway. When it's my time, I'm gonna go. There is no reason for me to stay. I done did all the dancing that could have been done. I would have been gone anyway.
Such a joy to sit down with you.
Same to you. Thank y'all very much.
Brent Cobb, love. Come back, see us again.
Sure will.
Excellent.
Anytime.
For Words and Music, Jessie Scott, WMOT Roots Radio.